Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Tuesday is with us again. That means we kick off another week here at FAF Cast, and it also means we have the results from last week's King and Prince of Map tourney that went down on Theta. Congratulations to Flash. He beat out the Red Viper to become King of Theta Passage, and very well done indeed to Draculium, who managed to beat out Beyonce to become... That must have been an interesting match right there. Got to see the final for that one. To become Prince of Theta. I don't have the information for this week's King or Prince of Map tourney, when it's happening and on what map, mainly because it hasn't been posted yet. And if you're sitting on FAF looking at the MOTD, saying there shining white, and saying to yourself, Guile, I'm looking at the details right now, what are you talking about? That's because I casted this match yesterday. I'm talking to you from the distant past. Be very afraid. We're all wearing top hats back here. But anyway, I will bring that to you as and when I can, maybe on the Facebook page or something, or in Thursday's cast, as and when it gets posted. On to today's game. It's going to be a custom 5v5 with an eclectic mix of Joes and pros, and all that action is going to go down on Wonder 5v5. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So we all know what we're dealing with here in terms of map. Let's take a look at our players. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1 up here at the back, rearguard air position. It's none other than Westmania. He's chosen Aeon, very sensible, in Ferrari red, opening first land. And his teammate to the far right at the front line, it's Laneless. He's going Elephantine Grey, UEF, how very attractive of him, and opening first land. Team member number 3 for Team 1, it's Rain. He's gone Cybran in Regal Purple and opened first land. Next to him, it's Bavs. He's gone Aeon in Fecal Brown and opened first land. And last but not least, it's the player with the best name on Team 1, Zequix, which looks fun and is fun to say also. It's he's going Seraphim in Baby Blue, opening first land. So that's Team 1. Let's take a look at Team 2 down here at the bottom, rearguard air position, featuring in what must be his third cast or something in the last few months or so. It's Cody's, no favoritism intended. He just obviously plays an awful lot and happens to have wound up in some interesting tussles here on FAF. Anyway, he's going UEF, opening first land in Mellow Yellow, and as I'm usually a huge fan of UEF, I wouldn't criticize it, but I would have to say that's edge handed over to Team 1 for the air game at least. Aeon a much more sensible pick. Rob is team member number 2 for Team 2. He's chosen Cybran in Vivacious Violet, and he's opened first land. To his left, team member number 3 for Team 2, it's Furfa, going UEF, Hallie Orange, opening first land. Team member number 4 down here in Pontiff White, it's Ryphon, and he's also going UEF, opening first land. And last but not least, down here at the bottom in Lurid Green, it's my good friend Chosen, who is opening first land and going second air and going Aeon. So we've got a couple of strong UEF players, good for defensive means, right in the center of that. But more importantly than who's facing off who racially is who's facing off who in terms of ranking. Of course, this is a mix of Joes v Pros. We've got two 1800 players here, Laneless and Rain, sitting up here, facing off against a single 1800 over here in Rob. And then we've got Chosen down here, which is going to be very dangerous for Team 1, 1900, highest rated player in the game, facing off against Bavs and Zequix, who are both 1200. So that left flank's going to be potentially a little bit dodgy for Team 1. They'll have to watch that, and they'll definitely be hoping for some support from Westmania on that side of things. But the first mechs out of commission in this game there is going to be taken down by Rob. He scoots in there with a couple of labs and a mole. They're going to get chased down there by a striker belonging to Laneless. But still, nice work there on killing off an early mechs. And we also saw a lab over there just cross over the midpoint belonging to Chosen, but getting gunned down by these tanks which crossed over for Zequix. He's now having a little bit of a tussle with a couple of Auroras. Auroras are going to win that one, so no early engineer deaths, I don't believe, there for Chosen. However, we're about to lose an engineer, or may have lost more than one engineer. Actually, there's another wreck there, but either way, that Mech Marine making useful gains early on for Laneless. 3 kills to his name already, and you can see these 2 mechs is not yet picked up by Rob, so a little bit of counter-punching going on there from Laneless, repaying that early attack in kind, and I would actually say doing a little bit better out of it as well. He is only 1 more mechs to scoop up there, and he's moving forward with his ACU, throwing down his 4th land factory, getting the adjacency bonus on that forward mechs, and that is a good reinforcing position as well. I like that play. Not a great deal of distance for those units to roll forward, and they're already coming up to harass those forward mechs as Rob is trying to move in with his ACU to chase those units down. Meanwhile, Rain has moved forward to the very center of the map, going to be getting some intel. It's a good place for it. And it also looks like Bavs is moving forward as well with a few units. He's got a few wall sections queued up there, but I doubt he'll be successful in getting those placed. That ACU belonging to Ryphon just there. And Rob, instead of deciding to pursue these strikers of Laneless, he's allowing reinforcements to deal with those, and he's instead going to throw down a PD to cut off any potential reinforcements. The only problem being that there's a Lobo in town that already took down that mechs and is now threatening that PD as well. So whether that gets completed or not, we'll just have to see. Ryphon engaging some of those units of Babs to his left. Babs going to withdraw those, doesn't like the idea of pushing on into that. Thank you very much. That radar was taken down very nicely by FAF, but those tanks are also going to have to withdraw thanks to the presence of Rain's ACU. And now it looks like Rob has been forced to move forwards with that comm. That PD was indeed destroyed, but he manages to kill off the culprit and should be able to restart that PD if he decides to. Always the danger, it's going to get instantly Loboed once again though, especially with Laneless with so many factories so far forward. But this is really crucial, this side of the map. Team 1 are going to have to dominate as much as possible the early game, try and pressure Chosen. Chosen is allowed to expand. He could waltz up here nice and easily and cause a great deal of damage. Of course, a lot of mass to be scooped on Wonder 5v5. A little over 5 minutes gone now. We've already got a couple of T2 mexes in play down here for Chosen. He's nearly completed an upgrade. Rain going to throw down an auto gun under a little bit of pressure from FAF, but only 3 strikers. They're not going to be able to prevent that auto gun from going live. But look out, FAF has completed his T2 engineering suite, so that triad is going to give him a nice ranged advantage there, and that forward auto gun just inside the range of that T2 PD. Unfortunately, factories though just off the edge of it, so he's going to have to build another one further up or move forward with conventional units. Either way though, a nice secure haven for the moment for that ACU to run back to. Laneless has also got T2 on the comm. He's thrown together a triad. Rob has taken a bit of a battering with that ACU. He's down to around 6,400 HP. Getting a little bit of a T1 PD creep from Laneless at the same time. So Rob forced to yield that section of the map, and with him in retreat, Laneless is going to throw another upgrade on the commander. No doubt, probably the gun there. Rain fancies his chances at knocking down one of the triads, moves forward with his ACU, and the Mantis probably not going to be successful, although he has discouraged FAF from getting any more PDs up in place. Two Triads online, and Rain now taking an awful lot of damage. He's down to around 5,400 HP. Laneless coming in to support from the north, but there's also a lot of support coming in from Rob, who's helping to secure the area very nicely indeed. Rain down now to under 4,000 HP. He is going to have to give up that section of land. That third Triad didn't get rebuilt. They managed to take out one of them, but FAF able to rebuild that nice and quickly. Meanwhile, in the far west, Chosen battling 2-on-1 seemingly against Vavs and Zequix. Chosen under pretty heavy sustained pressure now. Lots and lots of FAMs and Auroras bearing down on top of the comm. Cody's coming in to try and alleviate the pressure with some T1 bombers, but we've got Mercies coming in from Westmania now, going after Chosen's comm. One of them is going to connect, and that takes him down to around 5,700 HP. Still a lot of pressure coming in. We've got build capacity down here, spamming together as much PD as they can in the time. Trouble is, a lot of T1 units now bearing down on this position. They could start to challenge the build capacity and prevent these PDs from going online. It's exactly what happens. Chosen in the meanwhile down to around 6,500 HP. He's got 50 kills now on that ACU. He's doing okay, and that Asylum shield gen is a very welcome sight for him, no doubt. Vavs moving forward with his ACU as well, but not going to continue to press right now. Another Mercy inbound though. Chosen steps out of the shield at the worst possible time and eats it in the face. 4,500 HP remain. Nice overcharge at range though, kills off another couple of units belonging to Vavs. Chosen holding on with some pretty clutch tactics right now, hoovering up as much mass as he can, and you really do get the sense that Team 1 are well aware of the challenge they face down here. They would love to get rid of Chosen at the earliest possible opportunity, and the Asylum is out of commission. Another Mercy coming in now on Chosen, who's already in the yellow. It connects, and he's well down into the red to 1,000 on HP. Vavs closing in on Chosen's ACU, 700, 600. This is going to be very close indeed. And he has got the range upgrade on the comm as well, and that went down to about 40 HP there, but Chosen's still alive and battling. We've got a T2 engineer trying to throw together an Oblivion turret. I'd be very surprised if that is allowed to be completed. Chosen crippled and on fire, just a couple of hundred HP. We've got T1 bombers coming in from Babs as well, but not dropping their bombs cleanly on the ACU. That is a huge shame for Team 1. And now Babs and Zequix find themselves pretty deep in enemy territory. Chosen still alive though, 3,400 HP. Interceptors doing a pretty good job of Westmania there from clearing up the air above Chosen's commander. If only there was another Mercy. There is another one coming in now, but I think he's regened a little bit too much health. 3,500 HP. We will soon see. There is another Asylum coming in at the nick of time, and that is going to block that Mercy perfectly. Chosen playing out of his skin right now to try and stay alive, but the only concerning thing is these two commanders that are sitting off Ryfun's forward position, but Ryfun's actually pretty well defended. Both Babs and Zequix down into the yellow and eating Triad fire. Maybe this attack was overextended and not a good idea. After all, Zequix down well into the red. He's trying to evade, but gets caught up on the hill and down he goes. So when it looked like Chosen was going to die off early, instead it ended in an ACU being overextended, and Babs not out of the woods yet either. 2,000 HP remain on his ACU, with bombers harassing him at every opportunity. And now we have a wave of T2 gunships coming in from Cody's. Those Stingers wailing away down on Babs' ACU and just shredding his HP. He's going to go down barely a minute later, and suddenly the entire right flank there for Team 1 disintegrates. And in front of the strongest player in the game, Chosen, who's throwing an upgrade on his comm. And the chat goes out from Team 1. And they're saying, what is turtle waxing? I think that's Chosen editing that mod that explains what he's upgrading on his comm. And that may well be the shield, which is a great idea when you've been as nearly killed off with your ACU as Chosen has been. but he manages to survive. And now FAF under sustained pressure from Laneless. They are going to really be desperate for a kill now, losing 2 players inside the first 10 minutes almost. A huge gap on this side of things for Team 1. Laneless is going to be desperate for a kill to try and level the playing field. We've got Flapjacks moving in up here for Laneless as well, trying to range these Cerberus turrets. Rob, 7,200 HP on his comm there. Still enough hit points to warrant moving forward. If he can pick up some of these Flapjacks with his comm, that would be nice, although he needs to be careful. There is a triad a little bit further back. Chosen, in the meantime, shifting build capacity up to this huge vacuum at the side of the map, though. However, Rain, well aware of the danger, is moving forward to that side of the map with what is now a mix of T1 and T3 units. So Loyalists on the field for him. He has transitioned to T3 very nicely indeed. Move pings going down on Laneless's comm. No doubt persuading him to move back and engage Rob's ACU, which is threatening to move forward as well. Needs to be really careful though after seeing what happened to Babs with those T2 gunships, and as soon as I mention it, in come a wave of stingers from Cody's, but he decides not to stick around, and with good reason too. There is a skyboxer in the area for Laneless. Doesn't want to throw away all those T2 gunships. They are far too expensive for what wouldn't be a assured ACU kill. He changed his mind. He's going to bring them back in, and in fact there's a whole bunch of skyboxers, and those stingers just get shredded. Your first decision was the correct one. Cody's asking his allies to kill the flak, but that did not get done in a timely fashion. As a result, all of those gunships killed off very quickly indeed. Got a trebuchet back here for Rain. It's trying to fire at what must be its closest possible range to kill off these units moving forward for Chosen. And Chosen actually getting out with a few T1 bombers as well, no doubt going engineer hunting. And there are some clumped up NGs down here it could really make a mess of, but too much air support and anti-air in the area mean it's not going to get anything done on that side of things. We do have 2 engineers that have survived for Chosen and made it in around the back. We'll see if you can get a little proxy base together and cause some havoc. It's always the danger when you miss a couple of units of build capacity around the back, and I guarantee you intel for Team 1 will not be that efficient as yet. You see no radar signatures on that side of things at all. So a potential opportunity for a sneak attack from Chosen. We'll have to see if that can go undiscovered for any significant length of time at all. Attack missile attack inbound from Team 2. Where is it headed? It looks like it's going after core mass belonging to Laneless. Good decision there. No TMD in place at all. And lots of vulnerable T2 mexes to help cut down on Laneless's eco. That's FAF who's firing those TAC missiles. Laneless needs to get some TMD up and quick. Who's going to find himself eco crippled well and truly. Another T2 Mex bites the dust. Nice work there from our 1100 rated player, who's happy to sit back turtle and use some standoff tactics to try and hurt Laneless, who is well out of his base with his ACU. And now we're finally seeing some TMDs being thrown together up at the front. Is that missile going to get through? No, it's not. Final shot there, manages to pick it off. That must have been just at the corner of that TMD's range. But we hit T3 air now for Westmania. Strap bombers on the field, and we're at T3 air as well for Cody's. So no tech deficit in the air game. But strap bombers still could be very useful indeed if utilized correctly. And it looks like we've got a bit of an attack lining up down here at the bottom on Chosen's base. Away he goes, going straight after the T2 mexes. And then moving on towards Cody's main base as well. Another T2 mechs down. Strap bomber finally taken down by the ASFs, but still a couple of T2 mechs with associated storage taken out of commission. But Laneless under some pretty heavy Cerberus turret fire now, and well into the yellow. 8,900 HP. Manages to back up to safer territory. Rob coming in now with his ACU. Nice overcharge, takes down that triad. Also got a few T2 land units coming in now from FAF. Chosen actually up front with that commander and that personal shield. A lot of HP on there. Gun upgrade and all. Very dangerous unit indeed. And Laneless being driven all the way back to that forward position there. Just as that T2 Mex is about to complete. There we go. Could be in danger of losing it, and a lot more as well if that ACU hangs about any longer. He brings in his T2 units, but they're mostly flapjacks coming in from the west. Chosen continuing to press, but a rank of veterancy appears at the right time there for Laneless. 14,000 HP on that commander at the moment. But Chosen just looking like he's so far out of danger, but Rob very much in danger. Bricks coming in to the southwest, and they managed to pick him up. Rain outmaneuvers Rob, and suddenly Chosen going to find himself well and truly cut off. Cody's has been doing some nice job at the back though. A nice bit of work with those stingers, killing off T2 Mexes, but Chosen well and truly isolated. Still 9,000 HP on the shield, and of course the full 16,500 HP on the comm. Laneless doesn't want to get too aggressive here, but at the same time, Bricks emerging on the scene from Rain have to make Chosen think again about pushing any further, surely. Proxy base well underway over here on the far left, and that has been discovered, however. Recent flyby, so doubtful that anything's gonna come of that. Loyalists moving down the western edge of the map for the moment though from Rain. 3 Obsidians in pursuit. Definitely a few Mexes could be vulnerable if he can get away from them. Loyalist, of course, ever so slightly faster than the Obsidians. But that is a very welcome sight indeed for Team 1, being able to get rid of Rob as well, one of the 1,800 players. Leaving Chosen as the sole pro left for Team 2. Mania moves in to kill off that little proxy base from Chosen. Nothing really came of it. Always worth a try though. Now we're starting to see a lot more ASFs on the field, and even some broadswords now. T3 gunships emerging for Cody's. Chosen airlifts his comm out of the danger zone. Very nice work indeed by Chosen. Put all of that eco into the commander and didn't leave it back at base. Instead airdropped it into the front line to pressure Laneless, and if Rain hadn't come in with those bricks when he had, it's fair to say Laneless could have been done for. But still, nice maneuvering there from him. Ryphon 3,000 hit points into a fat boy. Laner's trying to get in around the edge, no doubt, to kill off the inevitable expansion into Rob's old base. Problem being, of course, is that FAF are now with a Ravager under that shield. Keep any land units from advancing too far forward. Range on that thing is so extensive. Another Fat Boy under construction. Only 830 odd HP done of that so far, but a little attack or probing attack here from Rain. 6 bricks and a Mantis challenging this forward position belonging to Ryphon. There are quite a few triads under here. Bricks, of course, though, so incredibly tanky. Down goes the shield. Definitely want to try and kill off that T2 P-Gen if they can. Take that shield gen with it. That would be ideal. But Chosen airdrops his commander into play once again. And that is very welcome indeed. Overcharge in, takes care of one of the bricks. And instead of continuing to press on the main base, those bricks of Rain wheeling away from Ryphon's ACU ever so slightly. Down goes the Fat Boy, who's never in real danger of being completed, but what? Quick air attack from Cody's manages to kill off Laneless, who looked like he was in a relatively safe position. Always the danger on 5v5s. Apologies for missing it. And Westmania very unhappy about the state of affairs now. You've got Chosen bearing down on the western edge of the map with Harbs, and now that eastern side completely devoid of any kind of development for Team 1. Laneless biting the dust there at just over the 20-minute mark, and it is now 2v4. Situation doesn't look great for Team 1, you have to say. Harbingers rolling in now, and very little on the ground to deal with them. And I shall be putting the replay ID in the bottom of this game, guys, as I try to every time now that I have a working replay from the vault. If you want to throw down in the comment section exactly what happened, let us all know what we missed, how Laneless died. I'm sure everyone would be interested to know. But look at these Harbs getting in around the back of Westmania's base now. Westmania really needs to bring his commander in and overcharge these units. Although he still doesn't have any energy storage. I mean, he's not up at the front, so he hasn't needed to use it. But it's always a danger. At this stage, he should have one just as a matter of course. And now look at all the build capacity that's clustered around his T3 HQ that he will be wanting to hold on to. He's trying to pursue with a ton of T1 spam, but that's not going to get the job done. If anything, he should have been trying to pump out restorers, which is what he's trying to do now. But a lot of damage being done by those Harbingers. And of course, all the time that's going on, Team 1's air player distracted. And Team 2 allowed to develop and expand. That Restorer now in play. It's going to take a long time to chew through those shields on his own. Fortunately, a couple of Loyalists turn up from Rain. Still no match for the Harbingers. And this really needs to be a target of opportunity right here. Kill off that T3 P-Gen, assisting all of those T3 factories. Sometimes it's a major hindrance, the target prioritization. Harbs going after the engineers there, or they should have just stayed on the P-Gen. That is just the nature of things. Massive cluster of build capacity for Rain in the center there, but look at this, Monkey Lord online. Do we have an approach vector for him? Well, he's just being brought to the fore for the moment. In comes those restorers that were being built earlier. There's a flare in place though, and a combination of that and the ASFs tidy that up without any difficulty whatsoever. Finally, that Harb goes down. Did manage to kill off that P-Gen though. Very nice work indeed. So that will significantly increase the power cost to Westmania for producing out of those air factories. And you can see he's already struggling with it eco-wise. And while we're on eco, while the game pace has finally slowed, take a look at who's doing what. And Rain, who's busy expanding into all of these other areas of the map right now, is way out in front on generated eco, 227, followed up by Team 2's air player, Cody's, is on 204. Westmania and, oh sorry, Ryfen, no, 213. Not sure whether he just jumped or not, but he seems to be doing rather well as well. But Westmania on 159, Chosen on 131. He has been busy though. He's been airlifting his comm around the map and was under a lot of pressure early on. But in comes that Monkey Lord from Rain, and that seems to have breached through on Topper's Furfa's base. Furfa getting his ACU out of dodge. Decent decision. Chosen trying to bring in some Harbingers. It's those Ravagers that are going to cause the most issues for that Monkey Lord. Did have a couple of Mercies down here. I suspect Chosen's probably already brought them in, and in fact Chosen's now bringing his ACU to bear. But Furfa has been well and truly crippled. 87 kills in climbing for that experimental. Nice work indeed. Down goes another T2 mechs, and I'm sure these two are unlikely to survive as well. So Rain enacting some decent revenge, and scores generally a pretty poor indicator of progress in Subcom, but sometimes it can give you an idea as to how well a guy is doing. And a nice rack of veterancy keeps that Monkey Lord alive for a moment longer, but Chosen bringing that awesome ACU to bear. A couple of overcharges. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Down he goes. Mass for sale. But yeah, Rain, 238k. Looking very dangerous indeed, and has a major T3 land producing facility up here, and he's producing mainly loyalists actually, which is kind of interesting. Going for mass brick. Suppose he still wants to be quick and mobile. There's a lot of spaces on this side of the map where he could stroll in and keep under wraps. That's maybe what he's planning. Outpace the slower, more tanky units. Chosen trying to wall off this section of the map. It's not going to be successful in slowing up Rain too much, I shouldn't think. But another fat boy under construction for Ryfen, who's incidentally nearly finished it and about to go green as it jumps into 75% complete. Mania dropping behind his mirror though, and that's absolutely crucial. vitally important. And just as we look down here at Cody's, he starts work on a nuke launcher. Look at the amount of loyalists massing. That is an outrageous amount of ground-based firepower. 68 loyalists. Might not sound a lot, but that really is a lot of damage, and a lot of fast-moving damage as well. And if they can get down here in time and kill off that fatty before it's completed, that would be another killer blow for Ryfun. His second experimental denied, and they've got the assistance of a Monkey Lord as well. And indeed, it does look like Rain is going in for the attack. We have got support commanders. They're all trying to assist the Fat Boy, but there's no way that's getting done, and it's just the most annoying thing in the world when it happens to you. Down goes the Fat Boy. Shielded support commanders, though. Damn. Taking a royal pummeling. Broadswords being brought to bear on the Monkey Lord. Push out a fair amount of damage of their own. But this pack of units getting dangerously close now to Ryfun's core structures in that main base. We've got a lot of triads in here. We've got Harbingers moving in from the south belonging to Chosen. Down goes a shield gen. That Monkey Lord still alive, albeit for the moment. Final shield goes down, but so does the Monkey Lord, but there's still a ton of loyalists in the area, and rightly so. They're focusing in on the power. Down goes one fusion reactor. Shifting northeast ever so slightly. Pick off a T2 Gen and then another T3, killing one or two of Chosen's harms in the process as that power gen goes up in flames. Chosen coming in from the east with that ACU once again. I think they're going to be able to tidy this up and hold on to that final power generator, but just look at the wreckage left behind. Ryfun's base looked like a pretty safe haven, but we've got another attack brewing here from Rain, who's just spewing out these loyalists in insane numbers. He's basically thrown those 60-odd units into the fight. They've caused a lot of damage, but they've been killed off, and then he produces another 40 or 50 right off the bat. While that attack's going on, has another one ready to go. And this is a relatively undefended position up here belonging to Chosen. All T2 mexes, the only static D in the area, these two T1 PDs. I think it's fair to say he stands to lose all of that up there, which is going to eat into Chosen's eco somewhat, and although it doesn't look too good, he must be bottlenecking on power. That's the problem. Yes, it is. Has rather a large mass store to call on. Chosen now airlifting Harbingers, no doubt to the other end to help protect FAF, but broadswords being brought in to deal with these loyalists. This is where Rain really needs some air coverage from his teammate back here. Just doesn't seem to have it though. Westmania sitting on only 16 ASFs. Cody's on 28, so that would definitely be an air victory for him, assuming Cody's can bring those ASFs into the fight in time. This broadsword's just getting beaten down. He brings them in, but almost all the gunships killed off. One remains. And now, having wiped out that far eastern position, what was Rob's old base, that horde of loyalists converges on FAF's position. He's been trying to build Ravagers. But alas, hasn't got anywhere near enough to deal with that. Look at the amount of loyalists in the area. Harbingers doing what they can. They've been airdropped in by Chosen. But they're not going to be able to save FAF's base. Rather unfortunately for Rain, a lot of his loyalists standing around that fusion reactor when it went up. Always annoying. But another base left in tatters. As you look at what this guy is managing to do, just shows you don't need full share to be able to play. Certainly, of course, this is a map where all of the mass is nice and easy to get to, and it's quick to expand. Your teammates are situated right next to each other, but just imagine how easy it would have been for Rain if he didn't even have to expand. Worried for a moment that was another ACU going Nova, but clearly just a support commander getting picked off. Verba's final core mech's going down there, and that reduces him to a paltry 61 mass per tick. In fact, drops again to 52. He's trying to build Ravagers a little bit further back. I'm wondering if he's gone far enough backwards. He's getting some covering fire from Cody's back here, and I'm wondering if Cody's base is now going to be under threat. But look out, another push of loyalists coming in right through the front door. Support commander up front doing what he can to repel the attack. A few land units coming in from Westmania as well. But that nuke launcher is getting an awful lot of assistance now. 33 minutes gone in this one. Cody's trying to rush a nuke as quickly as possible, and even if they have got some SMD in place, which I'm not sure they have, you just can't cover that much of a front line in it. I can't see any SMD anywhere, in fact. They seem to be completely void of it. Have they scouted it is the question. Well, they have scouted it, so if they're paying attention, they should recognize that it's a threat. But as of the moment, nothing coming forward on that side of things. Spy planes going across there for Cody's, no doubt looking for a target of opportunity, and that missile production is moving forward at a very, very quick pace indeed. It's not going to be long before he has one in the clip, and that will surely I want to say close or the lid on this game, but look at the damage that's been inflicted. Ryphon on 125 mass, so he's still got a decent eco going on. Furfa is essentially out of it. 2 mass per tick, -4 mass per tick. How that's even possible, I don't know. But there we go. Having issues, nonetheless. Chosen on 175. Westmania on 277. Cody's on 294. But Rain on 334. Is that about to change? Large push underway from Chosen. Lots of Harbingers in the area. Monkey Lord mopping up the ones closest to the shielded area. Detected. But there goes the nuke, and it's going straight for Westmania. He wants to move his ACU, and he does so. Continues to move it, which he's going to do well out of the area. He's going to stay in the game, but he's going to lose one of his core air-producing facilities. Isn't going to lose his T3 HQ, though. But Westmania cannot afford to lose too much power, and it's going to lose a couple of T3, or in fact 3 T3P gens. There it goes, but what? Another one. I am on fire today. So down he goes. At the same time the nuke connects. I'm actually almost wondering if that was whether that was a strap bomb attack or whether that was just a out and out control K, as he had nothing going on eco-wise. FAF drops out 35.5 minutes or so, a little bit past that. We are seeing strap bombers about, so perhaps Westmania picked up the kill there. This is sometimes the problem with 5v5s. There is just so much going on. Inevitably going to miss something, but that final Harbinger killed off there. Monkey Lord was in pursuit, but it took Rain's ACU to come in and overcharge it to put an end to it altogether. So 3 of those 4 core mexes out of commission. Westmania still sitting on pretty decent 216 mass per tick. We haven't actually looked at the reclaim figures in this one. 17.5k scoop so far for Cody's. Rain on 67k. No surprises there. He's had all of these bases to feed off. Westmania on 19k. Chosen even further ahead than Rain, who he's done a pretty good job of getting in here and picking up all of this. But of course we've had these massive loyalists incursions down here, so he's had that to feed off as well. So 81.5k there now for Chosen, and Ryphon on 12.5k. It's another huge selection of loyalists, and they're still being produced. But it's not going to be long before we get another nuke joining. Chosen going T3, SimCity, I build this city. So more examples of the manual edit he's done there to that little mod. Rain once again on the move with another horde of loyalists, this time 88 set off. Not expecting any to return. However, we do have a Fat Boy operational finally for Ryphon. He's been trying all game to get one online, and now he has one, and that's going to help them defend a lot more effectively than they've managed to in the last few attacks. But this is a pretty awe-inspiring attack. We've got a Megalith and a Monkey Lord on the west, a horde of loyalists to the east, flak sitting in the middle. GC going to start to work there on the flak belonging to Chosen there. But Rain going to want to take out that Fat Boy as soon as humanly possible. And Rain having a bit of a control issue with that crab that's just unnecessarily eating GC fire. Got caught up against the Monkey Lord. Oh my god, that's gone absolutely horribly for him. However, things going a little bit better on the far east. Chosen needs to be a bit careful. He's getting swamped now by loyalists, and every time one of them dies, the EMP is temporarily disabling the ACU, and as those loyalists swarm around him, the shield literally evaporates. 25,000 hit points don't last much longer either. There's no way he's getting out of this one, and Chosen, who's been an absolute stalwart for Team 2, goes down, and the game is finally leveled. 2 versus 2. And all of that is going to go down. That really, really stings. Astonishingly, a lot of the loyalists survived around there, at least the initial explosion. But the Fat Boy fire, strap bombers coming in, too much, but still, what a superb job Rain has been doing this game. Broadswords tidying up the flak, but too much firepower coming off those bouncers. They're going to have to withdraw. One of them dies on the way back. 39 minutes gone in this one so far, but if there is a saving grace for Team 2, it's that they have another nuke ready to go. I'm surprised Cody's hasn't fired it yet, but he's just realized, and there we go.
Strategic launch detected.
A very attractive UEF nuke. It looks just like a nuke from the 80s, from an old James Bond movie. Question is, where is it going? My target of opportunity personally would be to wipe out this T3 facility that's given them so many headaches, and it looks like that's where it's going. Yes, it is. Boom. Core mechs destroyed in that one as well. So how many kills on that nuke launcher now? Well, 233 kills on that nuke launcher. Now we're going to see how well UEF tankiness can hold on against another onslaught. Another drop there from Westmania, dropping some build capacity down to Chosen's old base. But the Ravagers do not permit it. Open up on those NGs straight away, and another drop coming in from the west as well is denied by Cody's ASFs. I hadn't realized actually a Duke very nearly completed, but this is going to be a pretty sizable attack now. And I just can't get over how effective these loyalists have been throughout this game. They have wrought so much damage. I'd love to get in here and kill off this nuke launcher, but very sensible precautions. An outrageous amount of T1 PD has been spammed up around it. And I don't know if he's going to get anywhere with that. There's so many Ravagers. There's so much shielding. But this is going to be a nice kill. Will it kill off the Duke? Kills off a couple of the Ravagers. The Duke survives. There's another one still to go. Still a few loyalists around, and down goes the Duke as well. So that will be welcome accomplishment from that attack. But they're not going to have enough left to challenge that nuke launcher, which is again already 2/3 complete on the third missile of the game. And do we have any SMD to speak of yet for Team 1? Not really. And this is the problem. If they can't find a way to deal with the nuke launcher, then they're not going to be able to retain any of their core manufacturing facilities. We've got a lot of Ravagers in here for Rifle 6 up front, which can make a real mess of you. And then further back, a battery of 16 Triads. That's in combination with the group up there. And then Cody's is just turtled up like a monster. 9 Ravagers at the front. 45 T1 PDs in various locations. And everything very comprehensively shielded. And that nuke nearly ready again. Chosen telling his teammates to beware of Telemaser. Well, Rifle pretty close to that horde of plasma cannons. As long as he doesn't stray too far away from those, he should be okay. Cody's slightly more precarious position, but still there's a lot of Ravagers here which are going to open up nice and quickly. So at the very best, you're talking about an exchange, which isn't necessarily going to help them too much unless they can deal with the nuke launcher, which now has another missile in it. And again, no SMD that I can see, meaning Cody's is going to get another free shot at Team 1. He's jumped
Strategic
massively into
detected.
the lead, and there goes another nuke. Ambassadors coming in now. What are they going for? Looks like they're going after Rain's ACU, or at least the shielding around it. And where is the nuke going to land? Is Rain actually going to make it out of there in time? I think he is. Yeah, going straight on top of that ion reactor. The ion reactor down here survives. has that done to his power grid? Well, his power's still okay, and importantly as well, he's still out producing Cody's in terms of mass, and so is Westmania. So Team 1 still way ahead on eco, but their build capacity has taken such a kicking, and they cannot seem to get through this wall of UEF goodness. Monkey Lord's very poor against Ravagers and Percivals, with a Fat Boy in tow as well. That's just offering more mass to be scooped for Team 2, who've done a very nice job actually preventing the drops down here from Team 1. Westmania has tried a few times to expand down there, to no avail. Westmania does now have an SMD, and it's got an anti-nuke missile loaded, and a second one very nearly complete as well. At this point you would just be trying to spam it up everywhere, but to be fair, Rain is holding pretty much the whole of the front line by himself, and that's an awful lot of SMD to be building. Rain getting antsy with Westmania's performance in this one. And now Rain could have a whole different set of issues as that Fat Boy begins to move forward. ACU cowering under shields over here, but that whole installation now in range. Those iron reactors not going to last too long under that level of firepower. Monkey Lord being brought in further to the north. We've also got a GC coming in as well. As long as Ryphen is sensible with that Fat Boy, should be able to keep it alive. Actually zoom into this view, you can see just how pronounced those craters are in the center. They really can play havoc with move commands and end up blocking an awful lot of directed firepower, but Chosen is indeed correct. Look at the amount of mass that's strewn on this field. Just so much has been thrown about in this game. This is exactly what I'm talking about. GC suffering as it can't get a solution on that support commander that's sitting behind the crater, and now it's forced to turn tail and run, but it's eating Percival fire all the time. I'm pretty sure it's not going to make it back to base. 8,000 hit points remain. It might just do it. It's going to be very close if it does. Megalith coming into support. He needs to keep moving, otherwise he'll never make it. Manages to kill off a Percy.
Strategic launch detected.
But there goes another nuke. What is that now? Number 4? 350 kills for that nuke launcher, and that's about to get a whole lot larger as it targets Rain's forward installations once again. Monkey Lord on 1500 HP, 400 HP for the Colossus. And I think if they're not suffering from a case of Sopcon head at this point, I certainly would be. Rain manages to escape the blast zone, but yet again his presence is weakened in the center. Again, still doing absolutely fine on eco, but no build capacity. His last remaining installation over here finally has a SMD. Thank God that was a support commander going up, because if I missed another ACU kill, I would have to run outside and castrate myself. That SMD a long way from getting a missile loaded. And that nuke launcher, with the amount of assistance it's been getting all game, stands to potentially complete it first. 459 kills. Outrageous amounts of damage. Cody's restarting that Duke. And it just feels like Team 1 are completely out of options now. Everything in Rain's strategy was geared towards massive T3 land spam. The experimentals that he has been producing have not been able to break through the wall of UEF defense. And Westmania just hasn't been attacking, hasn't been able for most of the game really to make his Air Force pay. I think we may well have missed a few crucial strap bomb runs and a couple of the ACU kills, but it just doesn't seem right that you could have this level of development compared to your opponents who are sitting on a couple of bases essentially and still be falling behind as dramatically as they are. But now Rain well on the move with his ACU. Percival's moving in from Ryphon, that fat boy, threatening to shut off this entire right flank for Team 1. Another fat boy is online. This time it belongs to Cody's. All it has to do is drift right on a slightly wide attack. It can cause a whole new set of issues for Team 1. But strap bombers are out. And with Rain on the run, Team 2 well aware of where the ACU is. We've got spy planes overhead, those strap bombs with an easy approach vector, and I'm finally present for another ACU kill. One run's enough to do it. Rain, after a valiant effort, is destroyed almost on the nose of 50 minutes. ASF's out for Westmania. Try to tidy up those strap bombers as quickly as possible, but quickly move to reacquire the next target, which is Westmania's comm. It's currently sitting under a lot of shield coverage. Not a lot of anti-air, but enough to keep that ACU alive. And in fact, all we really need to do is kill off that SMD. There's no way they're going to chew through the commander, I don't think, just with strats. Well, I could be wrong. Down to 5,400 HP, and there's still another strap bomber alive, but the shield blinks on in the nick of time. He can kill one of these factories. That should,
Strategic
by
launch
extension,
detected.
take out the SMD. That nuke will not get through unless they manage to take out that SMD. GC getting beaten down by some of these support commanders. .459 kills. It's an outrageous amount. And there goes the anti-nuke. Missile destroyed, but Percival's at the front door, just firing at will to these exposed P-gens. And now Westmania with nowhere to go seemingly. Team 2 free to expand at their will. Engineers moving out as they go. Westmania well and truly bottlenecked on power. And with nothing to challenge, 3 Percivals just sitting at their front door. And out comes a Novak satellite from Ryfun. Just has to kill off that P-Gen. It would take with it the SMD and a ton of build capacity as well. It's going to go straight after the SMD though. I think we can risk jumping to +2 as Team 2 get into position to finish this one. Down goes Westmania finally. And that completes the game for Team 2 though. But what an interesting one. So back and forth throughout. It seemed certain that Team 2 were going to win it from the outset. And then by the time Chosen had died, I would never have guessed there was any way back for Team 2. But very well played. Cody's, Ryfun, Rain. I hesitate to say MVP. Chosen did brilliantly as well. But what a game. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.